On August 16, 2003, at Old Trafford, Sir Alex Ferguson's Manchester United set out to conquer another title in the Premier League just a few weeks after winning the previous edition. Nothing is said about the captain. They are all there to accompany this objective, like every start of the season. The supporters eagerly await the new recruits on the field, but only the American goalkeeper Tim Howard and Aline, brought in by the Scottish manager, have an idea. They have come to see another player, a young Portuguese of 18 years old, who will be playing for the first time in one of the most legendary stadiums in the sport, the Theatre of Dreams. Then, in the second half, at the 61st minute, a young number 7 steps onto the pitch. He was just bought from Sporting Portugal for 15 million euros. A young Portuguese not really impressed by the excitement of the crowd or the pressure of a transfer. He doesn't wait long to make his mark. His number 7, the same as Best and Beckham. His name is Cristiano Ronaldo. You probably know the story. In early August 2003, Manchester is going to play a match in Lisbon against Sporting to inaugurate their new stadium. Since the start of the season, Ronaldo has been making headlines, especially by scoring a double in his first match in the National Championship. Offers had already been made by clubs like AC Milan or Barcelona, and he proves his worth in this match against Sporting. The game constantly shifts towards the left wing, where Ronaldo is shining with his early talent. The match commentators don't make a mistake, and it's also what Manchester players say. Paul Scholes and Rio Ferdinand are convinced that he has great potential and that he absolutely needs to be brought back to Manchester for around 15 million euros. So 6 days later, Ronaldo arrives at Old Trafford, a player who had been in their sights for a few years now. Manchester wants more from Ronaldo. They count on him to energize the right side, with Ryan Giggs on the other side, and Van Nistelrooy and Diego Forlan in front of the Portuguese. He has the freedom to showcase his spectacular game. The fans gather in the Theatre of Dreams to witness the realization of Ronaldo's dreams in his first match against Bolton. Cristiano makes a big impact and even wins a penalty shortly after coming on as a substitute. From his first touch of the ball, he quickly understands the phenomenon that has just arrived in England. The historic number 7 of the club is firmly attached to his back, with long-sleeved shirt and tip-top boots just above the Mercurial Vapor R9 edition. The whole package is incredible, and his game continues where he left off in Lisbon. I move on to the level of percussion, speed, crazy dribbles, and an incredible ability to create danger on his side. The English Championship discovers this refreshing gem. You have to imagine the excitement at that time, the player's photo, the anticipation and pressure for someone who was supposed to replace David Beckham on the right side. The Dreamers' supporters will witness the birth of a prototype, a thrilling player for whom people go to the stadium to watch a football match. This kind of player, at 18 years old, shook the biggest league in the world with his lightning-fast dribbles. The Portuguese's potential for improvement seems immense, and he had a superb season playing in a hybrid role on the right or left, or supporting the number 9. He scored 6 goals throughout the season, including a precious header in the FA Cup final. Confidence on the field, but still timid off it. Just a few weeks after the final, Cristiano was selected for Euro 2004 with Portugal. The competition took place at home, and the Manchester player was not a starter, entering a team mostly composed of players from Porto's 2004 triumph, with Pauleta and Figo leading the way. In the first match, Cristiano came on and scored his first goal for the national team with a header, despite a surprising defeat against Equip. And barely 10 degrees, he conceded a goal by number 17 on the left, and then on the right side. Apart from Luis Felipe Scolari, Ronaldo set fire to the defenses and led Portugal to their first major tournament victory in a long time. A contrasted comeback, he scored a goal in the semi-finals against the Netherlands, allowing Selecao to reach the final to fight for the title. They were considered a fearsome opponent after eliminating Spain, France, and the Czech Republic in the semi-finals on July 4, 2004. The Greeks implemented a clear and precise plan, with a solid defense of 4 and a midfield that allowed little possession to the opponent. They scored a small goal from a corner kick by Karis. During the season, we will see him more aggressive, surpassing his limits regularly. Not just my brother. I wake you up to give you this will and impeccable work ethic for your career. That's the end of this little aside, which is essential to understand Cristiano's story. Ronaldo arrives in the national team for his first World Cup at 21 years old as one of the great hopes of football. He becomes the captain of Seleção, and in the end, Cristiano must take over the torch in the best possible way. The lineup is similar to that of 2004, except Ronaldo plays on the other side, on the left, with Luis Figo occupying his historical position on the right. In his usual style, Ronaldo poses a threat with his dribbles and scores his first goal against Iran in the group stage. We can clearly see the evolution in maturity and style compared to Euro 2004. The young man from Madeira has grown up, and the rest of the competition will prove this theory. Well, in the round of 16, Portugal and Ronaldo get roughed up by the Netherlands in one of the most violent matches in the history of the competition for Cristiano. He is benched after only 34 minutes and a strong tackle on his thigh, but he manages to send Portugal to the round of 16 with a goal in extra time. Looking forward to what's next, tackles on his ankle are not very funny. Then comes a very special match for Cristiano, facing England and many of his Premier League rivals. First point, the Portuguese is in good form and creates several chances that may not be very sharp, but manage to unsettle the English defense. Second point, the match is not very exciting, but it will change in the 61st minute when Rooney's tackle destroys Ricardo Carvalho's genitals. Ronaldo rushes towards him asking for a red card, and with a little wink towards the Portuguese bench, he earns a penalty that leads to victory and sends his country to the semi-finals. Number 17 becomes public enemy number 1 in England. By the way, we will note the transition from the left-back position to the traditional left-winger position with the entry of Clichy on the field. You probably know this if you watched the last video. Then comes our beautiful French team, who will do a tremendous job containing the Portuguese and some of his tricks for 90 minutes. Portugal shows little danger and sees the pragmatic and solid French defense reach the final against Italy. We will console ourselves with the fact that it has been a great adventure, but also the beginning of a new era. Ronaldo returns to the north of England, where he is heavily criticized, giving him all the necessary motivation to step up his game in the following season. Cristiano takes another step forward to become simply the best player in the kingdom, baby 100 months. So many missed opportunities by the Portuguese Ronaldo starting and mobile on his side, we couldn't get past the efficiency, pragmatism and defensive rigor of his opponents. Tears to end a tournament full of hope. Cristiano showed a lot of character when he converted his penalty against England in the quarterfinals after a semi-vacation in Athens for the 2004 Olympics. Ronaldo is back in Manchester and will continue. Cristiano has a lot of character on his shoulders, and his Arsenal will pay the price. Titi Henry VIII bothers the Portuguese while Arsenal parks the bus before half-time. Ronaldo gets angry and is on his way to scoring for sure with a little celebration that we can barely do on FIFA, of course. It's the Premier League in the 2006 season. Ronaldo scores 6 goals and makes new records, providing assists during this season. His technical compilation is good, but not always effective. He is really in the prototype phase one of Cristiano Ronaldo's show for his future YouTube videos. But there is still progress to be made in ball management, finishing, choices in his runs, and overall sobriety in his game. Let's not lie. It's still great to see all the images. However, despite Wayne Rooney's arrival at the club, the Portuguese will have a challenging season, the first since 2002 for the club. Ronaldo celebrated his 20th birthday and needs to take a step forward to confirm all the promises of his first 2 seasons and not get stuck in the status of a spectacular player who excites the crowd but doesn't necessarily win trophies. Cristiano already has a good overall vision of the game. It's not against Russia at Euro, for example, and beyond his technical qualities, he creates a lot of dangerous situations for his team. But he needs to do more, and the manager knows it well, for the sake of his team and teammates who don't always appreciate all the fancy footwork of the acrobat number 7. Ronaldo needs to convert this part of his game into more effectiveness, even if it impresses the public. We have the potential to score or create opportunities, but the question is about his speed in his movements. At the dawn of the 2006 season, Cristiano seems to have learned some lessons in efficiency and shows a bit more killer instinct in front of the goal. The whirlwind DNA of Lele is still there, obviously. On Tuesday, he signs a contract and continues to make a big difference once he gains a bit of speed. That doesn't change and it's still impressive, but now we're seeing something else. The beginnings of a player who smells the goal, positions himself better, easily deflects and crosses, and takes responsibility when asked for more more physical strength to push weights. It's clear, but without forcing his offensive game while preserving that spectacular side. The Portuguese continues his linear progression without rushing, a raw diamond to polish with patience, and that will be well understood. Manchester United continues its transition and has a rather average season, finishing second in the league behind Jose Mourinho's team. They were eliminated in the group stage of the Champions League despite not having a particularly difficult group. The Devils finished with only 6 points and defeats against Lille and Benfica. Thank you for giving us your precious time and tuning into this video. We truly appreciate your attention and support.